Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show.
Hello everybody, it's Paul Neeson with the Raw Life Health Show, and today is Friday and I answer your questions on Friday, so that's what we'll be doing right now. I hope everyone had a great week and you enjoyed all the videos we had. Right now we have some questions here this week about the Ejuva colon cleanse and colon cleansing in general that I've been discussing all week with Charles from Ejuva Herbal Cleanse. Some great interviews this past week we had, so you can check them out on this week's interview. One question we got here is from Sophia. Sophia asked, regarding colon cleansing, is it just fair to say initially to do a colon cleanse when transitioning onto a raw food diet, but after that we wouldn't need to do a colon cleanse if we're on a 100% raw food diet? What's my opinion? I absolutely disagree. I think a raw food diet today is not necessarily a health promoting diet, because there's so many raw food candies, snacks, and dehydrated foods and miscombining foods. I say we should call it a fresh food diet, because fruits and vegetables should be the ideal of our diet. So if the majority of your diet is fruits and vegetables and you're eating them in good combinations and not overeating or eating late at night, then you do not need to do as much colon cleansing the longer you're into this, because the body will actually cleanse itself. However, if you're eating what the traditional raw food diet is today, with your dehydrated foods, your recipes, your raw food candy bars, and everything else, that could be just as bad or just as clogging as the standard American diet. So you definitely need to do colon cleansing, even within the raw food diet alone, or even the fresh food diet. I think a yearly cleanse would be a good idea. I like to do the Ejuva Herbal Cleanse at least once a year. I like to fast when I feel a need for it. I don't really necessarily plan it, but when I feel a need for it, I think it's helpful and important. I think cleansing is important at the beginning of the raw food diet, but I definitely think throughout somebody's raw food diet, they can't go away from that, and they need to do it for maintenance. And determining how much or how often somebody needs to do it, that really depends on the condition of somebody's health, and also their diet and other factors that determine their health. We have another question here from Randy, and Randy says, we have another question here from Randy, and Randy asks if during the Ejuva cleanse, when somebody's taking it, do they need to rest? Well, I recommend during all cleansing it's wise to rest, especially if you're doing a fast, it's wise to rest. But during the Ejuva cleanse, it's been designed so well where you don't necessarily need to completely stop working and stay in bed and rest, but doing less activity during the cleanse will certainly be helpful. The less activity you do, the more the body can rest, the more it's going to be able to get the fullest effect of the herbs in the cleanse, and also of the healing of the body as well. So I recommend that we should cleanse, and I also recommend that during our cleansing it would be a good idea to rest, or at least just cut down on our normal activities and our hectic lifestyles. And then finally we have another question here from Drew, and Drew wants to know my opinion about colonics, since we're talking about cleansing and everything else. And I've mentioned this several times before. I think colonics can be very helpful if they're used under the right situation in the right amount. I think, though, they do such a good job, some people tend to rely on them too much, and that could be a problem if you're relying on them and you're not relying on the body's own healing power to cleanse. So I think colonics and enemas are wonderful. They're great healing methods, but we can't abuse them or overdo them, or we shouldn't. And we certainly can, because people have, but we shouldn't overdo them, and to determine how often somebody needs a colonic or how much. Going to a good colon therapist will be able to tell you once they see actually what's coming out or what's not coming out. In addition, I always recommend people going to at least 2, maybe even 3 colon therapists, and not just one, because you want to have something to compare them to. You don't just want to go to one and say, well, they said I was great, or they said I needed this. But if you have 2 or 3, then you can compare them to and say, well, I felt better with this one. Now, if they all say the same thing, then you could be sure that they were right. But if they all say something different, then you have to keep searching and seeing who's not reading the body correctly. So I recommend colonics in the right situation. I recommend herbal cleanses, and I definitely recommend rest. Finally, we have the comments. All this week we had comments about a question I posted last Friday. It wasn't even a question, it was just a comment about my beard. I am just loving my beard, and so are many of you out there. But some of you aren't too happy with it. But you know what? This is me, and this is what I love, and you're going to have to get used to it, because it's not going anywhere anytime soon. And, and I love to anoint it with oil in the morning, and it just feels amazing, and my baby loves it. My baby loves to pull on it, and my baby just loves it. And more important than anything else, my wife thinks it's fine, and she loves it, and she's okay with it. If she's okay with it, I'm okay with it, and hopefully you're okay with it, because I know you enjoy this show, and if you want to keep watching the show, you're going to have to see me with the beard. And it's just great. I'm getting wonderful comments. The funniest comment I get, everyone says, "Oh, you look so Jewish." And my response is, "Good, I am." You know, it's so funny when I hear people say that. It's like looking at a baby and saying, "Oh, you look like a baby." She is. Or somebody looking at a dog saying, "Oh, you look like a dog," and the dog says, "Bark, bark." You know, it's such a funny thing out there. But, you know, this is who I am. This is how I look. I love the beard. I don't think we should be shaving, actually, because, you know, if our Creator didn't want us with hair on our face, He wouldn't have made us have a beard, which is quite funny, because I hear some people say, "Oh, you know what, I can't grow a beard." I say, well, if that's the case, why do you shave? Then just don't shave. But people start shaving and do all these things. Some people told me to trim it or shape it or do something else to it, and I tried all that in the past, but I'm just gonna let it flow and just let it go, and this is how I feel best, and this is how it should be. And I just love it, and it's a great raw life, truly. So everybody, there you have it. That's this week's Q&A. Join us next week for some great interviews we have. We were just at the Anaheim show this weekend in California. We have some great interviews. I am heading tomorrow. I am going to be in Phoenix, Arizona, actually in Mesa, Arizona, doing some things. And then on Sunday, I'll be in the Mesa, Phoenix area as well. And then we're going to be heading next weekend, we're going to be in Virginia Beach. So if you're out there, it's been a while since I've been there, so check that out on my website, paulneeson.com. All right, everybody, that's Paul Neeson with the Raw Life Health Show. Have a great day and a great raw life.
For your health, this is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life, brighten up your life.